Don't have a stroke, but don't have a stroke at 39,000 feet on your way home from Bangkok. No, don't do that. It was terrifying. It was really scary.
And were you completely aware that that's what was happening? Or were you just feeling...
No, it sounds daft, because the first sign was as I was getting onto the plane, I slipped a bit, and I actually thought it was cramp.
Right.
I was filming, and I'd come all the way from Bolivia to Burma. It had been a long old stint, and I was pretty wrecked. And I sort of keeled over. And the bloke came up and said, "You all right, Chris?" I said, "Yeah, I'm okay. I'm sorry, mate. I'm a bit cramp." And I got on the plane. And then it kept coming and going like that. Sort of every hour, I would have a sort of... The arm would go and the leg would go for about 20 minutes.
When you mean go, what? Just...
Yeah, you just couldn't lift it.
Completely.
Couldn't lift it. And this was sort of... The leg wasn't working.
And did you tell somebody?
No, I know you're all going to nag me, but...
No, not funny enough.
Yes,
no,
you
we're
will,
not.
because
no,
that's
no,
what
no.
you did. But...
Look, she's folding her arms.
Yeah,
I'm getting ready now. I'm going full Les Dawson.
Because I'm leaving Bangkok, I'm on Thai Airlines. They didn't speak the best English. And I thought, what are they going to do? Is there a doctor on the plane? What's he going to do? I wasn't sure I was having a stroke, etc., etc. And I just wanted to get home. I wanted to be in Britain. And you think about it, coming from Bangkok to London, I wanted to get to London. If they say, well, we better take the plane down, where are we going to go? Uzbekistan, Tehran General Hospital, Syria. Where are we going to go?
But somebody, probably would have been a doctor.
Eh?
There probably would have been a doctor.
I don't think they could have done a lot without all the
Mm.
drugs and stuff.
And did somebody then immediately the medics come and get them?
I got to Heathrow, which I've always maligned as an airport. They were fantastic. And a guy arrived, they had paramedic guy on a bicycle, and he came zooming through all sorts of stuff.
So when did you say something to alert them that they were there?
Well, I fell over, basically. I keeled
As
over.
you got off the
Did you?
plane.
Bit of a clue, like that,
You
yeah.
know what I find fascinating? Because I was with my dad, unfortunately, had a stroke a few years ago, and I was with him when he had a second one, and he was terrified. It was a really frightening thing to be going through.
Terrifying.
And so I can't imagine how you could have done that and kept totally quiet about it. Were you scared? Were
Yes,
you?
frightened.
Were you travelling on your own? Was
Yeah, because the
with
crew
you?
was still in Bangkok. So I was
Right, so
flying
you're
back on
totally
my own.
by yourself.
Yeah. I just wanted to get home. I thought, it'll be OK if I can get home, get to a doctor.
Yeah.
And when I got there, they took me into Charing Cross Hospital, which is fantastic. It's the best possible stroke unit,
Yeah.
brilliant consultants, and they sorted me, and they pumped me full of drugs and things. I mean, the first couple of days were really frightening with Jane.
I mean, when you were going through all this in the plane, did you think, this is it?
Yeah, actually. Yeah, some of the time.
And how did... I mean,
thought, well,
when you say this is it, what went through your... what went through your mind? Because none of us would have ever experienced anything like that. What does go through your mind?
Just fear. Is this how it
Because
ends?
you tried to ring home a few times, but
Yeah, I
didn't
did
get
try to ring
through.
Jane. I could not get through on the transatlantic thing. There was no satellite signal and all that.
So in terms of having that thought of this might possibly be it and whatever it is that goes through your head, once you recovered, which I know was quite a long recovery, two things. What effect did it have on you mentally in the way that you deal with your life? And do you still have any residual physical problems?
I mean, once they pumped me full of drugs and sorted me, and the guy said to me, "You're really lucky." I said, "Yeah, I was lucky. You know, I could have died." And he said, "No, but you could easily have been in a wheelchair." And that really scared me, because I just thought I couldn't, I couldn't function at all. No, I did lots of physio with this terrifying girl who should be on Loose Women. Because, physios who arrive with a bag, pain is beautiful. No, it's not. And she's jumping up and down and beating me and all that stuff. But it was good, actually.
Yeah.
Actually, my dad, he sadly died of strokes, but he had about 8 of them in the end. But during the rehabilitation, the hospital actually told him that he almost had to teach himself to walk again.
I did.
You had to tell your mind you were going to
quite quickly,
move.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
did you go through that?
psychologically, what effect has it had?
I'm fine.
Has it made you readdress? So,
Yes,
for example,
I don't work as hard as I used to.
Right.
I deliberately don't.
Yeah.
And I don't... And this is not the doctors telling me. I just don't drink any whiskey. I always used to drink large scotches, and I just don't
What does whiskey do to you?
Makes me go peculiar.
No, but I mean, generally, what does it do to the body in terms of strokes, do you think?
I just think that neat spirit is not good.
Okay.
And
I
for
don't
you,
watch an
that's your thing
that's
that
me.
you've taken on
and
board.
there's loads of bottles around the house and things, and it doesn't bother me either. I haven't had one.
Well,
I love the way you
I
say you
drink
cut back
wine.
on work, though. And here, God, my goodness, you're travelling all over the world with your train journeys.
Well, because I'd done 2. We'd been in Bolivia, we'd done Burma, then keeled over, and I mean, they were great. They didn't say, "Come on, Tarrant, for God's sake, a stroke, get back to work." It was none of that. They said, "It's only a bit of telly," which is really nice, because in the end it is. They said, "If and when you're better and you want to do some more, you know. And I thought about it quite a lot.
And
Do I
have
really
you
want
had?
to...
I'm sorry, I'm just fascinated by this. Have you had conversations now with your family that you might not have had before this happened to you?
A bit, yeah, with the kids particularly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were there on the bedside. I mean, I remember Jen, my daughter, one of my daughters, beside the bed, and she's holding my hand, and she said, "Can you lift your hand, Dad?" And I said, "No, I actually can't. I was really, come on." And then after about an hour, this is the second morning, after about an hour I lifted it, and it was like, Dad, well, cool, you know, all this. And then it sort of went down again. But then it started, and the drugs sort of kicking in. I know the first night, and I was absolutely exhausted, and I would not sleep. Jane had been with me most of the night. I would not sleep. I thought, and I did think, if I go to sleep, I won't wake up. And it was
Terrifying for you.
yeah. Well, you think you'd have another stroke.
I understand that.
But I'm fine now, and I'm fit
know
as a
you are.
fiddle.
You are.
It was just so boring, and music and money and the girls. It was like so boring.
Right, Mickey, off camera though, did you get on?